how to build an automatic storage system. These are resources you will need for this system. Okay guys, to start off with you need to break 4 blocks into the ground just like this. And on the second block place a dropper facing upwards. Into that dropper place a hopper and then a chest on top of the hopper. So after you've done that, place 2 observers just like this. Then destroy the bottom observer or this one and replace it like this. So these should have the sort of observers should kind of be facing out from each other. To make sure this is all right, you should be able to hear a ticking sound. But if you don't have sound on, you can also break the block here and make sure that this little eye is flicking on and off. If you have done that, you know that this is all good. Okay guys, what you can do now is place 4 blocks on the right side of the chest. So 1, 2, 3, 4. On the left side you only need to place 3. Then what you can do is build this 3 more blocks up. So 1, 2, 3. Then just block up all this. And after you've done this, you can place 3 glass on top of this chest too. Then also place 3 blocks on top of the inner observer. 1, 2, 3, just like that. Then you need to place 1 ice right here. Place another ice right here. This need to be packed ice, by the way. Then you can place a block in the corner right here, and then just build a little wall around here. But destroy this block quickly. Place a temporary block there, and then place a cake on top of this block. And you will also need to place a temporary block here. Not temporary, but just a block here to make sure everything is steady. Okay guys, the next step is to place a double chest right here, 1 more right here, another one right here, 4th one right here, and then a 5th one right here. Then have a 1 space gap between there and place 5 more double chests just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Also a quick reminder, this doesn't need to be 5. You can also build this as long as you want, but all you will need to do then is just have 5 chests, 1 gap between 5 chests. You can also just have 4 chests, but you know, that is all up to you. So after you've done this, just make this 1 block taller up, or basically just double chests up. Then after you've done this, you need to place hoppers going into each chest just like this. And after you've done this, you need to place a temporary row of blocks on top of these chests right here, and then place a row of hoppers going into those chests, into those blocks, I mean, just like that. And after you've done that, you can destroy the blocks. Make sure that all the hoppers are facing out until kind of above the chest. Okay guys, now we can place a block of ice right here, and then head behind these hoppers, and on the second row of hoppers, you need to place 1 block here, another block here, and then just go 2 blocks out behind all the hoppers, or the second row of all the hoppers, just like this. And after you've done this, you need to place a redstone comparator going out from each hopper right here. And also, I forgot to say that, but at the end right here, we're not going to have an automatic storage system, and I would recommend that if you build something like this, have at least 1 kind of space row that doesn't have this sorting thing. The reason for this is because if we don't have this and all these kind of hoppers are filled in with, you know, specific sorting stuff, and you throw in something that isn't in the system, it's going to end up on top of this hopper and not go into anything, which means that the item is going to despawn. So after you've done this, you can go 1 more block out right here on these, and then right under this block you need to place redstone comparators kind of going towards this hopper system things, if that makes sense. Then what you can do is place redstone dusts on top of these platforms just like this. Then also place a block behind each of the repeaters and place another redstone dust line on top of those blocks. And what you need to do is simply break your way into here, and you can also break these blocks, doesn't really matter, but just have some space here. And then what you need to do in front of the repeaters is to place a row of blocks just like this. There should be 1 gap between the blocks and the kind of hoppers. And then on these blocks you need to place some redstone torches just like this. Okay guys, so after you've done this, you can place a row of glass in front of here. This is just for looks, you don't need to have the glass here, but yeah, just place 11 glass blocks right here. After you've done that, you can place 3 blocks going next to this glass block, and then just make a little wall around here. And you need to make sure that you do this because we are going to have a water stream right here, and you obviously don't want to have water running on top of your redstone. So yeah, so after you've done this, what you can do is place a soul sand on top of the dropper just like this. So right there. And then what you need to do is place a pressure plate right here, and also a pressure plate on this ice block too. And also guys, you can quickly place some blocks here just to kind of, you know, remove the little ugliness of the behind. Because to continue with the system, we need to obviously fill in the hoppers with blocks and that we're going to have for the system. So just follow with my steps. So firstly, what you will need is simply the blocks you want to have in the system. I'm going to start with having 1 diamond and 1 gold. So obviously we will have diamond here, gold here, and then we will fill in the rest of these chests with other items later beside the last one. But basically what you need to do is head into this hopper or a anvil, and then just rename some kind of block. This needs to be a minimum of 41 blocks. So simply just rename it to anything. I would recommend just renaming it, kind of dropping your hand on the keyboard. And after you have done with these blocks, I would recommend that you drop them out into the void or just simply get rid of them to make sure you don't get them into the system, because if you do that you might break the system. But simply what you need to do is head into the hopper, and on the last 3 blocks place 3 blocks that have a specific name. Again, you don't need to have a specific name, you could use normal stone, but that means if you get normal stone into the system you will break the blocks, which I would definitely not recommend you do. So after you've done this, you need to get 41 specific blocks into the system. These can have the same name, it really doesn't matter. Just get 41 more blocks into the system and then place the item you want to have specifically sorted in the first slot, just like that. So now whenever any diamonds go through the system, they will, you know, travel through into these chests, and then just do the same here. You can also use 3 blocks from this, but then simply just get 41 stacks or 41 blocks here, place that in the second slot, and then place whatever, you know, resource you want to have into the system on the first slot. Okay guys, now we have just a few more steps, and that is firstly to place a stone pressure plate on top of this ice, and then another one at the end right here. And then what you need to do is simply just fill in well, everything above the soul sand with water. So there's one water source right here, another one right here, and then third one right here. This water source should kind of travel through here, and then you will have another water source right here that will kind of flow into just about this pressure plate, and place another one right here. I also want to remind you that if you're going to have more of these systems, you can also just have this system, but if you want to have, let's say, 20 of these next to each other, all you would need to do is simply just replace, well, have an ice block right here, pressure plate on top of that ice block, and then a new water source. It's a very simple concept, shouldn't be that hard, and boom, now we're practically done. So all you need to do now is simply just make a roof. You don't need to do this, you can also just make a roof on top of here, this middle part, but I would recommend that you have a roof, especially on top of the water stream. This is mostly to prevent mobs from getting stuck in here, especially zombies, because they have a chance of picking up items, which can obviously suck if you have stuff like diamond blocks in the system or something. Okay guys, I'm quickly going to show you how this system works. I'm going to throw some gold and some diamonds into this thing. They're going to be dispensed out, sent into the system. Let's just wait. Yeah, and boom, as you see, they will be sent into the hoppers and into these chests. And now I also want to remind you that if you have not filled up these other kind of things, if I for example were to throw, let's say, a pressure plate into here, let's take that firstly, the pressure plate would get stuck inside this hopper. So yeah, as you see this, the pressure plate got stuck inside this hopper. Now this means that more items will just get stuck inside here, and sometimes they will travel into the chest. So if you're not, if you are not going to use these kind of other hoppers or whatever, I would recommend either just destroying one of the systems and then just simply replacing this with a block, or just kind of, you know, clocking it off or whatever. But you know, you will all figure that out yourself. If you wonder how you might do that or how you might fix this system if you have too many chests, feel free to comment and I'll reply to you as quickly as I can, which is usually in a few hours as long as I'm not asleep. But anyways guys, that was the automatic sorting system, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you also found this helpful. If you have any questions about how this works, feel free to comment them and I'll answer them right away. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.